And we're back, everybody, with the STD podcast. Welcome back. I'm Joe Vorell here as always with Renan to the right. Say what's up, buddy.
How you doing, guys? Everybody.
And we got Mail to the next. Say hi, Mail.
What's up, y'all?
And then Pat over there still in the corner. What's up, buddy?
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. We're joined today by Mr. Browns running back Leroy Hoard. How are you today, sir?
Yeah, Hoard of talent. My thing ain't
What's happening?
Nothing too bad. Nothing too bad. How's the weather down there? Let's start there. How's the weather in Miami?
Let's just start. Before I did this show, I was watching a little baseball in my jacuzzi.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
nice. Good morning.
It's like 80.
Oh, nice.
A little rain. It was a little rainy today, but other than that, no, I don't have to worry about putting on a jacket or nothing.
I think it was 52 here.
And it was 39 degrees earlier today,
wow.
and it was about 40 when it came in here in the studio.
But see, during football season, that's great. That is awesome. Like, there is nothing better than a football game when it's like 40, 50 degrees and sunny.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can run all day. Soon as it gets to like 70, 75, 80, especially in Cleveland, then it starts getting a little crazy.
Yeah. Well, in the new stadium, if you're on the south side of it and it's during the September, it's just so unbearably hot because the sun's bearing down right at you. If you're on the other side, it gets too cold.
You come out right out that lake.
Yeah, so you got to pick your side if you're a season ticket holder. Fuck yeah, man.
Goodness. Are you complaining about football?
No, I don't like it too hot though. I like cold football. I'm a real big hot baby. Like there's been games where I got drunk and I'm the idiot who runs around with the shirt. No, I like the cold. It gets 85 degrees in that stadium, I'm dead, man.
Most of the time, by the time Clevelanders got to the game, they didn't care what the temperature was.
Because we were drunk.
We were so drunk.
I mean, I tell people all the time, I tell the players when I go talk to them and say, hi, what's up? I tell them this. You guys are lucky because after you play a crappy game, you can just go down to the bat cave, get in your car, and just zoom through the crowd and go home with your tinted windows, your nice car. Nobody don't even know who you are. I said, but let me tell you a little story. I think we were playing the Philadelphia Eagles one year, and I think it might have been 92. We were playing the Philadelphia Eagles, and we were beating them like 30 to 14, right? They punted to us. Eric Metcalf was hurt, so Webster Slaughter returned the punt. He returned the punt from the 1 yard line and fumbled. They went on to win the game 31-30. So after the game, we were like, Webb, don't worry about it, man, because, who am I to say? I fumbled. I couldn't say nothing to nobody, right? I knew he was trying to do the right thing. He left and then came back. I said, man, what's wrong, Webb? He said, man, they slashed my tires.
No way.
I promise you, I am not lying to you. So
I believe it.
I tell these guys, I say, we didn't have a special parking garage or a park. We parked right with the people. And every time you played a bad game, you had to walk the gauntlet to your car.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that sounds about Clevelanders.
Well, now they. I mean, I'm not sure where the Browns player lot is, but if you look at the Indians, you go down to Progressive Field, you can see it right there coming off the corner. Yeah, they got security guards.
They valeted their cars underneath the stadium. You don't even see them leave.
No, not that new stadium. Yeah, the old one. Probably.
Yeah, I'm like, wow. When I go to the game, sometimes what I would do is, like, I would go to a Michigan game and then drive to Cleveland. So I would fly into Cleveland, rent a car, drive to the Michigan game on Saturday morning, then come back Saturday night, go eat at Joe's. Got to go eat at Joe's. And then go to the game on Sunday. And then sometimes if they had a late flight, I would fly out on Sunday. Mm-hmm. So I used to have to get a pass to park. And I'm like, wow, you guys get to park down here?
When's the last time you've been to Cleveland?
Last year.
Oh, nice.
I come a couple of times every year. I usually try to time it up with a Michigan game.
Oh, yeah.
But, I usually come up there a couple of years, do some stuff for the Browns. And
how many Michigan games do you see a year in person?
Probably the same amount. But keep in mind, the athletic director, Ward Manuel, I've known him since he was 10. We grew up together.
Oh, nice.
So we grew up together, went to Michigan together. And so, like, yeah, I didn't go before then, but I went once he became the athletic director. I would go up and see him, see what's going on.
That's awesome. I've been to the big game a few times.
You been to the big house?
I've been there twice.
I've never been up to the big
And I've been to the big game too in Ohio State twice. I'm a big fan. Honestly, I do like the big house, man. It's a nice stadium, man. Because it's built more low into the ground. It's not like
it's built like somebody dug a hole.
Yeah. Because it's built low into the ground, man.
Ohio State,
and it just fits so many people because it's like a big
100,000 people or something.
Yeah, you know what else is built like that? The Rose Bowl.
Nice. You know what?
Was built the same way.
Buffalo was built like that. Buffalo Bills Stadium.
I like Buffalo Stadium.
Who cares?
That's
how many people, besides people from Buffalo, how many people you say, whoo, man, you need to go to Buffalo. That Buffalo Stadium is awesome.
Yeah.
So if somebody got too drunk in Buffalo, I'm not gonna say who that was.
Buffalo was crazy, but no, we're big.
I'm gonna try to think the coolest stadiums. I played at every NFL stadium.
Nice.
Not some of the new ones.
Yeah.
But so, like, I scored the first touchdown in the new Cleveland Stadium in a preseason game.
Nice.
I was playing for the Vikings, though.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you did 3 years with the Vikings. Yeah.
Let's see. Oakland. When you played in Oakland, they used to take you to the game in buses with the jail cages on the side.
Nice.
People used to throw stuff at you. I'll tell you an interesting story. You remember when Randy Moss got fined for fake mooning?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's an inside joke because every time we would go to Green Bay, when the buses would pull up, all the fans would moon us. Right? So every time we go to a game, they would moon us. So when Randy did it back to him, everybody laughed, but nobody outside of Minnesota and Green Bay knew what the hell it was about.
Huh. How much did he get fined? That's probably got fined a lot back
20, 25 grand?
Damn. Did you ever get fined for a chicanery like that? 15-yard
for fake moon. Not even a real moon. Fake moon. He didn't show no cheeks.
What do you got if you show cheeks?
Where does the money go when they get fined? Is that like a charity or something?
It goes into a pool and it goes to a charity.
Okay, it's probably a bunch of
NFL-based charities or just
no, they have an NFL charity fund with the Players Association. They put it in there, and they have various throughout the year that you may hear about. Well, that money is shared with the owners throw money in there, the players' funds go in there, and then they distribute it.
Does the money from that team stay in that city? Do you know? Or does it
I don't know. I think it goes into a general fund.
All right. Wouldn't be a bad thing.
Because each team has their own charity.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Right. It doesn't go there. No. I think they want to get and say if you get fined, they want the money out of the city.
Right. That way you don't get encouraged because that way people just gonna punch everybody. And, there's $100,000 to the Great Cleveland Food Bank for punching that guy and stuff like that. So wait, I was reading. You grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana. Was your whole childhood there?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
And when I was recruited by Elliot Uzelak, who, if you remember when Robert Smith said a coach told him he was there for football.
Yeah.
And then he said, "Well, I'm not playing," and the coach got fired. Well, that was the guy that recruited me. And then a year later, Robert left early.
Yeah.
So I hated Robert. I was like, that was just. Why would the head coach take the word of a kid? He's a kid, right? Yeah. And now me and Robert are like best friends because we played in Minnesota together for 5 years.
That's all.
So but I before I knew him, I was like, man, he got my guy fired. Now it probably wasn't as accurate as I made it down, but when you never have any contact with the parties involved, right? You really don't know what the real story is. It's just what people tell you.
Huh. Did that guy ever get another job?
Elliot Uzelak, yeah. Oh,
where
yeah. He was a head coach for a while. I think he was a head coach at Navy, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
so
probably
yeah, he was a head coach for a while.
Oh, nice.
Now, when you were growing up, did you what age did you realize you were destined to play football? Was it like in high school? Were you like in middle school? You were just popping it off Pop Warner? How that worked?
I played Pop Warner, but I was the biggest kid on the field and the fastest. So I remember as a kid, they would just give me the ball and just say crush all the kids. Yeah. And I would just run and just destroy the kids. And I remember one time one of the parents yelled, "He hurt my son." And my dad yelled, "Tell your son to do some push-ups or something." It was crazy. And then I didn't play for like 3 years, and then I played in middle school. And then, believe it or not, I didn't play in the 9th and 10th grade.
Oh, wow. That's what years I did play.
So what ended up happening is in Little League, my arch nemesis ended up playing football at the school that I played at. And he said the reason why I didn't play football was because I sucked. And so we had a bet of $10 that if I played football, that I would take his job. And so to this day, we go back and forth because I didn't really take his job and he didn't really lose it because we played in the same backfield.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Back when you used to have 2 running backs instead of the single stuff.
Well, hell, you can't even say that. When I was at Michigan, we had 3.
Yeah.
Beast backfield back then. So when you were in high school, did you know you were going to go to Michigan? How did Michigan come into play? What were your top choices out of there?
I took a recruiting trip to Nebraska because Neil Smith was my homeboy. He was from New Orleans. So they got me to go there. Nice. And then there was a coach at Illinois, Richard Solomon, who went to school with my parents. And he convinced them to convince me to go and take a recruit trip to Illinois. But Illinois and LSU were the only 2 teams that I visited during football season. So when I went to Illinois, I was like, man, 50,000 people, I'm in.
Right?
So it was crazy. But keep in mind, I'm not used to how y'all do high school. Like if you get 1,500 people at a high school game, my average crowd was 20,000.
Yeah, no, that's nice. 1,500, man. We would get like 200.
Yeah, 200
players. No. I remember we played a playoff game against a school. The name of the school was I forgot the name of it, but they were the 2nd-ranked team in the country, and the stadium sat above the highway, above I-10, right? Yeah. And they shut it down, and people were parking their cars up there. Like it's crazy. Like, but keep in mind, I played my high school games where they had the Olympic trials.
Oh, wow.
So that's how big the stadium was. It sat like 30,000.
Jeez.
So when people talk about how big football is, and like my son, when he went to high school, and I went to some of his games, I'm like, what the hell is this? And everybody talks about how big high school is in Florida, how big high school is in Texas. I got a nephew now that's playing in Texas. He getting ready to go to college. And I go to watch them practice, and I'm like, this it? Where y'all people at? So, yeah. I ended up I took a trip to USC. I took a little courtesy trip to Tulane because it was a local school. But guess who was the head coach at Tulane? And guess what?
86, man.
Oh, man, that's probably a little before my...
When I say the name, you're going to say, get the hell out of here.
Barr? Is it, what's a good thing? Les Miles, maybe?
No. He is Mac Brown.
Wow.
Okay. Oh, wow. Wow. He's is he the athletic director?
He's at North Carolina now, but remember, he went from Tulane to North Carolina to Texas. He was a coach when they won the national championship
with Vince Young.
Texas with Vince Young.
Yes.
Yeah. And to this day, if I ever see him, he says, "I remember you when I was at Tulane."
No Ohio State visit?
I think Ohio. The only reason why Michigan recruited me, I always wanted to go to Michigan because growing up, like I don't know, it probably changed for you guys. I'm a little bit older than you, but this is how it worked during bowl season, right? You had the garbage. I don't give a damn bowls all the way up to January 1st. And then you had the January 1st games, right? And it went, I want to say, Cotton Bowl, Orange Bowl, Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, in the bowl season. That's it. See you next year.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
I knew I wanted to play in one of those. Nice. Okay? So I knew if I wanted to play in the Rose Bowl, I had to go to a Pac-10 school or a Big Ten school. I had never played in the Superdome. Never. Like I played in the Superdome one time in my whole life. But I couldn't figure out how they determined who went to the damn Sugar Bowl. Because it was supposed to be like SEC and somebody else, but it never worked that way because of the other bowls or whatever. So I took a trip to LSU. I was like, all right, I gave it a try. And I never really thought that Michigan would recruit me. But what happened is we played the school that Ward Manuel went to. And Ward Manuel was the Gatorade Player of the Year that year defensively. And Elliot Uzelak was there to recruit Ward, and I ran all over him. And so that's how I started getting recruited by Michigan. But I always wanted to go to Michigan. Who don't want to go to Michigan? Come on, man. Like, it's different. It's different now. Okay? It's different now. But when you go back in the 80s, there was probably only 6 or 7 schools that you wanted to call from.
Oh, yeah.
USC, Michigan, Ohio State, Texas. I mean, Alabama was hot garbage.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
UCLA
wasn't that good.
USC wasn't that good.
Notre Dame was good back then.
Well, USC was okay. They were still playing the Rose Bowls, right? And then to show you how small the world is, you want to know how y'all got y'all coach? I'm talking about John Cooper.
John Cooper. You got Cooper fired.
But you want to know how you ended up with him?
How's that?
Because my freshman year, we went to the Rose Bowl with Jim Harbaugh and Jamie and Gerald White and Bob Perriman and all those guys, right? We played Arizona State. Guess who the head coach was at Arizona State?
Cooper.
John Cooper. And we lost. So Ohio State hired him.
Yeah, but then he couldn't beat you when he was at Ohio State.
That was actually one of my next questions coming up, man. So back in the 80s, the Michigan, is it as legendary as the parties and everything, man? I just hear stories. And how was it, man? How was the party life on campus, man?
It was, you know what? How can I put Michigan? I can give you an example of what it was like on Michigan with one day, April Fool's Day, which also is the day of Hash Bash, where everybody goes to the middle of the campus, smoke them if you got them.
Nice.
Nobody can do anything to you, and you have a nice day. Just for that one day.
What day was that again?
April 1st.
April 1st.
Every year.
They still do it now?
If you got caught selling it, guess how much the ticket was?
It's like $25 or something. Like $5.
$5. They never even really checked. So, yeah, it was fun, man. Look, you have to understand, I'm probably from a town, all of New Orleans is probably half the size of Cleveland, right? Yeah. I'm talking about all of New Orleans. New Orleans is very small, so everybody knows everybody. So although I lived in the city, imagine where you were 10 years ago. That's where New Orleans is today. They're just a little bit behind. You know, the old Southern thing. Right? And so to be able to go somewhere else and experience something else, you know, where I grew up, the black and white thing was real. Don't fool yourself. Like where I live now is not the South.
Miami.
This ain't the South. There's too many people from too many parts of the world for this to be the South. Take your ass up to the Panhandle, Alabama, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana, and then talk to me about the South. So I wanted to experience if my life was going to end 4 years, or my traveling was going to end 4 years after I left high school, I want to at least say I experienced something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Michigan was it. I had never seen snow, right?
Yeah.
Never seen snow, never seen hills, right? Hills, mountains, nothing. Everything is flat. So there were just things that I was, like baffled by, that people were shocked that, you know what I mean? Like that they had what? You never seen snow? No, man.
Well, when people from the South, or when people are always shocked about people never see snow, I would equate us like, well, we've never seen, light blue ocean waves and, sandy beaches. So
we got Lake Erie, but
right, we got Lake Erie.
But that's a little bit different though, right?
Oh yeah.
Like you have to, like, the craziest thing that I tell my mom would ask me, how is it? Because in college back in the day, the season would end before the snow started. Like you maybe once or twice would play a football game where there was snow, because the only time I remember when Thanksgiving was because of Thanksgiving. I knew we played Ohio State the Saturday before Thanksgiving, and our season was over. Now they play into December. So I never had really I only played in snow a couple of times at Michigan, and it was because we played somewhere else. It was never at Michigan.
Nice.
How was it? What was your record against Ohio State when you were in college? Did you do 3 years or 4 years of college?
You did 3 years.
4 years. I did 4 years.
4 years. What was your...
When I got to Michigan, I said, hey, I'm going to be here 4 years. If you don't play me my freshman year, that's on you. And guess what? They redshirted me my first year, and after 4 years, I left. And they say, oh, you leaving early. You're an underclassman. I said, wait a minute. I went 4 years. Just because you say I got to stay 5 don't mean nothing. I went 4 years. College is 4 years. So, yeah, I always hated, the fact that I was viewed as an underclassman because they said so. Hated that. Don't tell me, like one of the reasons I left New Orleans was to have the freedom to be able to be a man and make decisions pertaining to my life. And before you even get a chance to prove yourself, they have already determined that you are going to be redshirted, and I kind of hated that, because I think that if you're good enough to play, you play.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it's not like that now, because you're thinking, hey, we better play these guys as freshmen, because guess what? You ain't getting 4 years out of them.
No.
Well,
so
a guy now, yeah. Well, yeah, a guy now will just come in if they redshirt him, they'll stay for like 2 years and they'll just leave out. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So what was it like just beating Ohio? You went into Ohio State every year. What was your record for Ohio State? It was like 3-1?
3-1. And the only time we lost was Earl Bruce's last year.
Okay. What did it feel like going down there? Well, what was the wins were? How many of them were in Ohio State or Don Columbus?
2 of them.
2 of them were?
I won both of my visits to Ohio State. One was a really good one. We were favored by a boatload, and we were down with like a minute left to go in the game, and John Colasar caught the kickoff, ran into midfield, and then 2 plays later scored on a 50-yard pass.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Who was in the backfield with you in Michigan?
What? Are you kidding me? We had an awesome backfield. It was me, Tony Bowles, Allen Jefferson, Jared Bunch, Tracy Williams, and then we all came in as freshmen together, all of us. And then before that, we had Jamie Morris. We played with Bob Perryman, Thomas Wiltshire, Gerald White. So yeah, Like all of us were in the same running back room.
Were you there when the Fab Five freshmen, Juwan Howard and Chris Webber?
I was gone. They came the next year.
Yeah, next year. Yeah, they came in the 90s. He got drafted.
Did you ever meet those guys after the fact?
Yeah. Okay. Well, remember, I'm in Ohio. I mean, I'm in Miami, and Juwan was the assistant coach down here.
Oh, okay.
And keep in mind, and Glenn Rice played for the Heat.
That's right.
And Glenn Rice
we used to hang out.
A beast back there.
Nice.
So when you were down in Ohio State and you just smoked us, or smoked, I didn't go to Ohio State, but you smoked Ohio State. What's that feeling like, just looking up and seeing 100,000 people just leaving the stands just depressed as hell? How's that feel? Just make you feel like the villain, like the wrestling villain.
Look, it's nothing like rubbing it in, too. So I understand I've been eating it for the last, I don't even want to count.
10 years.
And by the way, he didn't get that damn first down a couple years
ago.
God. I'm telling you. Hey, look, I have a rule. If the ass ain't past the line, the guy behind the ass isn't past the line.
Who's the quarterback?
It was
Barrett. It was Barrett.
Barrett, right?
Yeah, it was Barrett.
Back of his line. If the line, he can't be past the line. So I was actually at that game. I started dancing in the suite. I say, and whatever, and I'm like, what? I'm like, So I had to eat it. But I tell you it's really cool when you're playing. You're trying to win. So like, I'm not from Ohio or Michigan, so I had my most fun with the rivalry when I start playing for the Browns. Because back then I could put my Michigan hat on and say, y'all better recognize. Knock down. Now I got to kind of, me and Robert used to bet a case of Mr. Pibb. not Dr. Pepper, Mr. Pibb.
I just bought one of those the other day.
I said, no, he did that just to beat Robert. Yeah. Right? Nobody drinks Mr. Pibb unless there ain't no Dr. Pepper.
Right, I guess looking for the Mr. Pibb.
I'm not gonna lie, I just bought a Mr. Pibb the other day.
Why? Because you say, "Oh, I ain't had one of these in a minute."
That's exactly why. I was like, "Oh, they got Mr. Pibb. Okay, let me buy it."
Right, but so my rookie year, I was at training camp, and they used to have the Ohio State coaches come to, like usually the local college. Or the local college would go to see the pro team and pick up on some things or whatever and watch practice for like 3 or 4 days. So they came, and I come out to run out of the building, get ready for practice, and they all got all their Ohio State stuff on, right? So I'm like, all right. So I went and shook all their hand. I said, thank you. And then one of the guys said, who the hell are you? I said, hold on, let me turn around. And I had my name on the back. I said, if it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't be here. And kept running. And, I've been eating it for the last, 15 years?
Yeah, it's been a long while, man.
It's been a while. I think we won one time in 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
It was unheard of. But, like, just by accident, you're going to have an upset. But it just goes to show you that Ohio State has been on a run of talent that is unmatched in the Big Ten. Like it is the equivalent, the talent that they've got. Think about this. Let's keep it real. Michigan can't get a quarterback, right? That's what they've been looking for, like a quarterback, and they think they have one, and you don't really know yet. But think of what was in the room. You had Justin Fields, Joe Burrow, and who's the other quarterback?
Dwayne Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins in the same room.
I know, and Burrow couldn't even get on the field.
Burrow couldn't get on the field. He left and won the Heisman. That's what y'all got.
And never won the draft.
The scraps of winning the Heisman.
And he told me
one guy.
Right, Michigan's got guys like Tate Forcier and whatnot.
Hey, we ain't asked for all your comments, man. I got this. Let it go.
Hey, I like Denard Robinson and Tate Forcier. You know what's a funny thing is that Ohio State.
Hey, we did not mention the Rich Rod years.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
Rich Rodriguez.
That every lineman should be 265 pounds in the Big Ten.
That's too small, man.
You think?
That's like,
you think? Come on.
So, at what point were you in Michigan when you figured out, okay, I'm good enough to go pro? When did you realize this?
When I got drafted.
Nice.
I never assumed anything ever.
Okay.
Right? Because you have to understand, at every level of football I played, I had to watch a guy in front of me, and I thought he was the bar. Right? So when I went to a different high school my freshman year. I go to this high school, they had this kid, and the coach was treating him like he was all world. And I'm like, ooh, I hope to be that good. I go to spring ball, and I'm just destroying him. I'm like, well, I guess he ain't that good, right? So I transfer schools, and I told you the story about me and my buddy about getting playing time. Now, I went to the same high school as Leonard Fournette, right?
Nice.
Me, Leonard Fournette, Tyrann Matthews, bunch of us. My whole high school has 500 kids. It's an all-boy, all-black Catholic school in New Orleans. The whole entire school has 25 classrooms. So it's a very small school. And we're known for our band. You know who else went to my high school? Apollo Creed.
Oh, nice.
It's just a small school that had a whole bunch of famous people that went there because it's unique. But so everybody would say when I go back to New Orleans, who's the best running back to ever come out of the high school? We had a lot of guys. We had Tyrone Hughes. We had a bunch of guys. And they say it's between Leroy and Leonard Fournette. And the guys that I think that he's better simply because of the body type. I wasn't that big or that fast coming out of high school. I was like 205 pounds. I was okay for speed, but not like him. He was man-made the second he left high school, right? And they go, hey, man, do you realize, and here's the best thing that ever happened to me. When I was in high school, I think I ran for 1,500 yards my junior and senior year, and I averaged 14 carries a game. That's it. We had like 3 running backs. Everybody got carries. So I averaged like 10, 11 carries a game, a carry. That's how we did it. When I got to Michigan, we had a bunch of running backs. So I didn't have to carry the ball 20, 30 times. Like sometimes you see like Tyrone Wheatley or some of the guys that came after I left Michigan that just carried the ball. We had Tony Bowles. Tony Bowles was the fastest human being I had known to that point. And he played running back. We had Jared Bunch. We had Jamie Morris. We had so many other guys that I had an opportunity to show what I could do without being a workhorse. Then I got to the NFL. And they go, hey, just keep being you. We're going to use you in a lot of different ways, right? Just keep doing you. You're going to catch passes. You're going to block a little bit. You're going to pass protect. We're going to give you the football. I did a lot of things. Got to play a long time in football because I never had to take that pound. So, sometimes you get lucky with how your circumstances play out. Whereas you have some guys who are really good. They get the ball a whole lot, and then they get burnt out by the time they're 24. So, yeah.
Zeke Elliott's kind of like that right now, if you think about it.
Hey,
for some reason, they don't use him. Like, they should use him, but the problem is that the reason why he is not as productive is because that great offensive line they all broke.
Now they're kind of cap hell with Dak and his ankle hurt, but that's a whole other thing. Now, when you watch the draft itself, back in 1990, did you watch the draft on TV? What was your plans for the draft?
Here's what happened. During the draft, I got a call for New York in the first round. And they said, hey, and this is probably the most messed up thing that ever happened to me in football, right? They said, hey, and I'm like, oh, I said, shh, do not try it. Shh. They say, hey, if Rodney Hampton gets taken, we taking you. That was the call. So nobody took Rodney Hampton. The Giants took Rodney Hampton. Now, I was supposed to go in the first round, and the Browns actually tried to trade up in the first round to get me. But what happened was Blair Thomas went second in the draft, right? Guess who was first pick in that draft?
Oh, 1990. Jeff George, right?
Yeah. I played with Jeff George. He was in Minnesota. Hey, so Blair Thomas went. So everybody thought all these running backs were going to go, but then no running backs went. So guys like Emmett and remember Anthony Thompson, Daryl Thompson, all those guys went ahead of me. You know, a lot of other guys went ahead of me, and so I ended up going in the second round to the Browns.
Did you get was it a phone back then? Was it just a plain phone call? Obviously, there's no call ID in 1990. Who were you with when you were watching it?
Where was I? I was golfing.
Oh, you are golfing?
Yeah, I can't score no more touchdowns. What the hell am I gonna do sitting there going crazy watching the TV? Well, what good is it gonna do?
That's a whole lot different than it is today, right? Now it's a whole spectacle.
No, even more so. Even more so. Because, look, part of the trouble we get in life is we are so worried about the things we have no control over that it drives us crazy, right? We worried about this over here, this over here, this over here. Then when you finally have a chance to do something about it, you're not ready to do it. So how many players you know complain about their situation, their circumstances, and then when they actually get an opportunity to do something, they go out there and drop a pass. They go out there and miss a block. I say, I can't tell you, like, man, opportunities in life ain't never come knock on your door. They just kind of happen, you know? And those guys, so I'm like, I can't do nothing about this. I'm done. I played college. I played for 2 years, three to 4 years I was there. I went to the combine. I did all this stuff in preparation for this moment. The only way I could change what's going to happen right now is if I go back in time and change something there, which I can't do. So I'm going to just relax, enjoy it, end up where I end up, and do what I got to do.
How'd you do on the course that day? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I just, like, at that time, see, I'm going to teach y'all a lesson in hood golf. When I played in New Orleans, we had one little muni course. It was called Punch Train Park, right? And we would golf there. And the way you did your tee times was, see, at the fancy white clubs, y'all call and say, "Yes, Mr. Johnson. Oh, you 7:30? Okay, thank you." Well, at our course, you go get a ticket. They put the ticket around your bag like the muni course, and then they had a tube, and you drop your ball in the tube, and then when your ball come up, that's your tee time. They ain't got a starter and all that stuff. So that's how golf was. So I was just relaxing, not really doing nothing, just taking my mind off of it. The worst thing is if you think the worst you've ever felt in your life is being in a situation and you can't do nothing about it. Right? So I just try to take my mind off it, realize I can't do nothing about it. And then I realized I was going to the Browns. I was so happy. Nice. One, because it was close to Michigan, right? And the other thing was all my friends were from Ohio. All the guys I went to school with from Ohio. Nice. So I was close to my friends. I didn't have to go to a far new place. I was relatively close to the guys that I went to school with, right? And they just came out of the playoffs, right? So keep in mind, if you went to the Browns in 90, you thinking, oh, yeah, get ready for this championship, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
But here's what I didn't realize about the NFL. Like, all those guys that you remember watching when you was a kid, now keep in mind, Clay Matthews and Ozzie Newsome's first year, I was 8 years old. And now I'm playing football with them, right? And they had a couple of other guys, right? Now, the one thing, look, there's two things that have been undefeated, right? The 72 Dolphins and Father Time. You ain't going to beat them. You can't beat them. Father Time will always catch up to you. So all those old guys we had on the team got really old at that moment, and we were really bad. We won our first game. and ended up 3-13.
Jim
Right.
Schaffner, man.
I lost. No, that wasn't Jim Schaffner. We had Bud Carson.
Oh, that's right.
I lost more games my rookie year in the NFL than I lost in high school and college put together.
Welcome to Cleveland, right? 3-13. That's just the walk in the park. I remember 0-16 and 1-15.
Well, I was more shocked that the 0-16 guy got to come back for 1-15.
Oh, I know. You know how you don't mention Rich Rod? We're not going to mention Hugh Jackson on this show. No, sir.
You know what? I liked Hugh. The thing that here. This is what happens when things aren't going well, right? You have bad decisions, and you ask a guy to come in and coach your team to make up for those bad decisions. And when it doesn't work, you always have a fall guy. Now, I'm not saying Hugh was a great coach, right? But I am saying, let's not make it sound like that talent that was on those two teams was playoff bound.
Oh yeah, they were. They cut. I mean, that was right after we cut the center Mac, and then we cut the tackle. These in Kansas City now Schwartz, and they're throwing out guys like Cody Kessler and Kevin Hogan. It's like, well, these people aren't even in the NFL anymore.
No,
right.
So you kind of did the best of what he can, but I mean, after watching his play calls for the second year, we knew he was okay. Let's just
because the team sometimes has to make decisions not based on what things are, but what they look like. For example, down here, they complain about Ryan Tannehill every week. And I said, hey, you have the worst defense in the league. Statistically, they were ranked 31st and 32nd. I said, and you're going to put all this on the quarterback? He's just all right. I said, you think if you had a better quarterback in the 32nd ranked defense, your team would be better? Yes. Okay. Like, I'm not going to fight you over it. You're wrong, but I'm not going to fight you. And guess what? Where's Ryan Tannehill? Ryan Tannehill's always been his quarterback. Dude, you don't turn it around like this. You've always had this in you. He's been playing football, professional football, for 8-9 years, right? If it was that easy, Tim Tebow would be a damn quarterback, right? If he could learn, right? He worked hard. How in the world you spend your whole life doing something? He spent his whole life playing quarterback and couldn't throw a spiral, right?
Right.
Think about that. As a kid, you might not have been able to throw it far with your friends, but what you say? Watch how tight my spiral is, right? Am I lying? Watch how pretty my pass look. You don't care where it goes. I saw him throw a swing pass end over end, and that was it. That was it for me. One of the job requirements for your job, if you are a quarterback, is to throw the football. So
when you were drafted back in 1990, if you might remember back then, baseball cards, football cards, it was pretty much the peak, like right at the top of the sports card.
right.
Did you ever get sick of like requests for card shows, autographs back then? Was that a culture shock coming into Cleveland for you?
No, I just didn't do them. Like I was one of those people that I would rather see you on the street and have a conversation with you than have you send me a card to sign. Right? That's not my thing. It's not real. It's not real. You didn't have no interaction with me. Right? Come talk to me. Come holler at me. Right? Let's sit down. I used to go down to the flats, hang out with the people.
Yes, love the flats.
Right? Back there where you get those gyros after the night was over. Yep. Come on. Yes, absolutely. So I was one of those people. I didn't mind signing autographs.
Nice.
But I had a hard time when you do one of those shows for people and it's just a line and you just doing it is so non-personal, right? And I don't want that to be indicative of who I am as a person to have this situation set up to where it's just so like just fake, you know? So I used to hate doing them. I remember doing one. I did one for a high school, right? Because they said, hey, it would really be cool. And I said, all right, I'll help you out, right? So the guy says, how much you want? I say, whatever you got, whatever you could afford, that's fine, right? So the high school kids say, I can give you $200 for 3 hours. I said, all right. Now my whole deal was I was going to then take the $200 and give it back, right? No big deal. I told the principal, I told everybody, I'm gonna do this. So it gets pretty slow, and we're after 2.5 hours, right? And I'm like, I'm getting up, right? He said, hey, the kid goes, this is till 3. I say, well, excuse me? Excuse me? So I'm like, yeah, man. I don't mind signing autographs, but like I have friends in Ohio to this day that have asked me for an autograph, and I said no. I said, you're my friend. I know you. Like, we can't be friends if I give you this autograph like you some random person.
Mayo gets like that with his autographs. So when you first moved to Cleveland, you were telling me before, so it was in North Royalton. Where'd you first get an apartment at? What was your initial reactions to the whole city and the fan base and all that?
Keep in mind, I'm used to 100,000. So, game day, look, the thing I love about Cleveland, back when it was the flats, not when y'all fancied it up down there, right? Y'all got too fancy for your britches. Like the dog pound is too nice. Yeah, come on, man.
I agree 100%, sir. 100%.
But I used to like the fact that we go to the flats on Friday, and people will be getting their cars parked so they can have a good spot for tailgating on Sunday. So they just leave their car down there for the weekend. One of their buddies will come get them, and they already have their truck set up for Sunday. It was incredible. I mean, there's probably no genuine atmosphere. Let me put it that way. Genuine atmosphere. And like you hear about fan bases and you hear about electric crowds and noise at other places, but there's only a handful of places where it's really sincere. Like Minnesota, and maybe it's because we always won, I have never seen an empty place. I never saw an empty house in Minnesota, and it was really loud. If you ask other players around the NFL, Minnesota's one of the loudest places to play in.
They're playing the Dome, right?
Yeah. No, that was just while they were building the other stadium. They played at the University of Minnesota. Could you imagine playing in Minnesota in December and January?
Oh, no. Well, I was in Minnesota 2018 in November, and it was like 6 degrees up there. It was like 40. It was ridiculous.
When I first went, it was November. I first went to Minnesota. I got to Minnesota on a Tuesday, and I started on a Sunday night. It was the craziest thing. But for 30 days, 25 of those days, the temperature never got above 0. So the high on some days was -1.
It's not like Mary Tyler Moore days, boy. It's just cold as shit.
It's just straight up cold, and it snows a lot. Like it don't just do a little crop dust. Like you get up in the morning and all you can see is the side view mirror from your car because they done plowed the snow over your car. It's brutal.
All right, so back in '91, after you had your rookie year, you're 3-13, you see all these losses. Then you come in '91, you get that's when we had Belichick, right? '91, you get a fresh Bill Belichick.
His first year was '92.
92, okay. Right. What was our record in '91? Do you remember?
Wait, let's see. 90 was the first season. He came in the next year. So 91, yeah.
91. Right. So you get a fresh Bill. Where were you when you first met Belichick? Like, found out the news. Was it kind of exciting to meet Bill Belichick? Could you see the greatness at first in his eyes when he first started, or no?
No, we didn't know he was. He was assistant coach. We just know he was the defensive guy that won championships. Like, for anybody who says, I'm quite aware of who he is before they knew, no, you didn't. You didn't know. And one of the things that makes it tough, and give the Browns and the players a ton of credit, right? Because what you have to understand is usually when you have a new coaching staff, you get an extra mini camp. You get an extra week of camp, right? They got none of that. No preseason games, no extra week of camp, no extra mini camp. They got nothing. And they had to go in and start the season playing a Super Bowl contender that returned 91% of their players, right? With a coach that ain't never been a head coach before. So give them a lot of credit, because after that first week, I felt after the first week, it looked like they were either throwing it to Jarvis or to Odell Beckham. It wasn't like an offense where you just pick the open guy. But as Stefanski started, picking up on things, now the offense seems to flow a little bit better, right? Where everybody's getting involved.
The tight ends.
Right. Everybody. Well,
really big in the
I saw Njoku when he was down here. So I'm very familiar with him. But so when Bill came in, we didn't know what to think because he was a defensive guy, right? But you learned pretty quick. There was a couple of things he believed in. You could not practice for me if you wasn't in shape. So we had a conditioning test, which caught a lot of people off guard. I'm gonna tell you like that. Then we used to run. There's a hill. Have you ever been to a Browns practice?
Oh, yeah.
You see that big hill next to the building?
Mm-hmm.
We used to run that every Monday during two-a-days, right? He also believed that a day off meant 24 hours. So if we played a game on Saturday at 5 or 6 o'clock and the game ended at 9, we would report the next day at 9 o'clock. Till they finally said, you have to have one calendar day off, Bill, right? But then you start realizing that when a coach first comes in, he has to make his points. And they're going to rub some people the wrong way. And sometimes when the coach is not good and he's trying to make those points, he looks like a clown, right? We've seen coaches come in there try to be hard asses and they're not winning football games and everybody's giving them a stink eye like, what are you doing? But everybody learned real quick that Bill knew what the hell he was doing, right? He knew he could come to you, and here's what the crazy thing about him was. Say if you was an outside linebacker, he'd just be walking by, you would be stretching, and he'll say, hey, Joe, when you see that tight end stretch wide, and he puts that first finger, and he puts those hands down without balling up his fist, he probably just running a quick flat. Stuff like that. Just random stuff to everybody on the field. So when Malcolm Butler caught that pick, right, there is no, and the first thing he said was, Bill yelled at me during the week for not doing it right. Right? And that's how he was. The problem is because of what Cleveland had been through, and because Bill is not what you consider a personality, right? Then everybody, it rubbed him the wrong way. And I used to say, hey, if you want a comedian, go to the comedy club.
Yeah.
If you want a good football coach, then look at the production. Look at the results. There was no patience. None. And so every time I talk to fans that ask me about Cleveland, I say, be patient. Be patient. Because one, if you look at all the organizations that haven't had success, there's one common denominator: impatience. They all want the star quarterback to play right away. They all want the quarterback to be Tom Brady right away. They all want every player has to come in and be a major contributor right away. Like, I would never have been able to play football during this era because I needed to grow. I needed to learn how to be a professional. I needed to learn how to perfect some of the skills that I had. And down here, when you play on a bad team, you don't always get that luxury. So be patient. Now, keep in mind, there's also the teams that draft all these players, and you could give them 30 years to develop. They still going to suck.
That's the Browns up until now, yeah. The Browns from Leroy Hoard up until Baker Mayfield. That's pretty much how it goes. So back, I just said, yeah, from then up until now, and the Browns are just pretty much. You were on the team that won the last playoff game in 1984.
I would have never guessed that in a million years because we make fun of all the other teams. Like, hey, the Dolphins are complaining down here. I'm like, silly fans. You don't know what a drought is.
We were seniors in high school. Me and this guy, her and I graduated in 95, and we remember calling into Les Levine back then. And then we were thinking, okay, we beat the Patriots. That was the last win. That was 25 years ago. I got my dad. I got 3 kids. He's got 4 kids. Now it's like 7 kids. We still haven't won a playoff game yet. That is suffering. Not whatever any of these other little fans know. Cleveland Browns fans, easily, unquestionably, without a doubt, most suffering fans.
Hey, what was the year that Belichick released Bernie?
It was 93, I think.
Was that 93?
Yeah. 93, yeah.
Did you want Super Bowl with
Yeah, so in 94, you get Vinny in there, and you guys go 11-5.
Yeah.
And you do get to the playoffs. That was your Pro Bowl year, wasn't it, 94?
Yeah.
You're pretty much on top of the world at that, and then the Browns move. Where are you when you find out about the rumors? What's going on in your life at this time?
Look, let's be clear. It's so Cleveland Browns to announce your team is moving after Game 5, right?
Yeah.
So what was I doing? I was practicing. I was getting ready for a football game, right? Like we were all look. There's no. You think you were shocked? I didn't think we felt, right? We have no say-so in the matter, right? But I tell you what, if your boss said, "Hey, I'm taking your check to Pennsylvania," you're going to get that check, right? That's the reality of life. So we can say whatever, like we ain't got to say so in that. So everybody, look, we were the only people who were speaking for the organization, yet we didn't know what was going on. I don't know what happened, but I do know this, in all fairness, to the Browns and to our Modell, right? I'm going to tell you a story. When I got to Cleveland and we were in Berea, the first time I went to Berea, you know what they showed me? This is in 1990. A diagram of the new stadium. So everybody that walked into the offices in Berea saw a diagram of the new stadium. And I was told we were going to be getting that in a couple of years. That's what I was told before I even got to Cleveland. So if it were me, and I'm going to just tell you how I would react, and then I'm going to tell you another reason why it happened. If it were me, I was the bread and butter of that city. Not basketball, not baseball, but the Cleveland Browns. And you build 2 arenas before you take care of me? Come on. Don't act like you wouldn't do the same thing. The problem is that nobody, at no point in time, did anybody ever speak in behalf or for our Modell.
Yeah, it was all innuendo.
All he did was he did what he had to do and he left for whatever reason. He has that right. Okay? Here's the other reason. It was earlier, like not too far before that, Joe Robbie died, right? Down in Miami. And they had to sell the team because none of his kids could afford the inheritance tax. So if you notice, from that point forward, all these owners, instead of being owners, became CEOs, right? And all their businesses became corporations so that you could take your corporation and pass it on to your kids without them having to pay a tax.
Nice.
Now, in order to do that, you have to have cash. Our Modell needed cash because he couldn't move the team because Al Lerner owned a portion of the team. In comes Baltimore. Baltimore says, not only will we build you a new stadium, we'll give you $75, $100 million in cash.
Yep.
Now, I make you Art Modell. What do you do? No matter how much you love Cleveland, what do you do?
Well, if I'm Art Modell up to that point, based on my financial decisions, I pretty much have no choice. Yeah,
right.
But the city of Cleveland never thought.
Yeah, the city of Cleveland. I'm not going to put. I mean, I'm not going to put all the blame on Cleveland or all the blame on Modell, but the city, their governor was rumored back then, Voinovich. Something was not.
They never thought Art Modell would ever take Cleveland.
Let me tell you what happened. Right? You know damn well, if they had a legitimate stadium to build, it would already been built.
Oh yeah.
Right? That stadium they had planned that they were telling everybody was just to cover their ass. Come on. Because I saw a diagram of a stadium when I first got to Cleveland. And I'm like, wow, we're getting a new stadium? I said, you mean I'm not going to have to see people looking at the game like this over to the side because there's teams all throughout the stadium?
Big pole in the face of me.
You mean I'm not going to take a knee on the dirt thinking I'm in the end zone and I'm on the 5-yard line?
Nice. Get a home run in the backfield.
Right. I'm just saying. So, like, the reality of it is that, you know, there's a lot of things that were going on that I was, as a young man, picking up and figuring out. Like, wow. I mean, and then to top all that off, right? We get to Baltimore and they're congratulating us. Why are they congratulating us, you ask? Because that was the year they brought Canadian football to the U.S. and the team, look it up, the team that won the Grey Cup was from Baltimore, and they thought we were the Canadian football team.
Weren't they going to be called like the Colts, and then they changed? They couldn't call them the Colts, so they were like the Baltimore CFLs for a while or something. I remember that.
I have no idea. I just know that I got congratulated for winning the Grey Cup a lot.
Nice.
So you get to Baltimore, and you're there. How long were you in Baltimore for? A couple weeks? The next season?
Probably a whole summer and 6 games till like the bye week, and then I got shipped to Carolina. In Carolina, they told me because Tim Biakabatuka got hurt. They brought me in and said, hey, we have Anthony Johnson, but if Anthony Johnson works out, then we're going to let you go. If he doesn't work out, then we're going to use you. So after like 3 or 4 weeks, they say, hey, he's doing pretty good. They got rid of me on a Monday. On a Tuesday, I was on my way to Minnesota, and I was playing for the Vikings on that Sunday. Now, what makes that incredible is a week before that, I was on Carolina playing for Carolina at Viking Stadium against the Vikings.
Same week switcheroo. I love it.
Right. It was. I lived in 6 cities in 3 months.
It's more cities than you live in your entire life, dude.
Yeah, that is true.
So you get to Minnesota.
You have to have. I had a place to live in all those places at the same time because once you sign a lease, you got to have it for 6 months.
Yeah, sure. You can't just live with a fan or something. So you get up to Minnesota. Is that kind of like a redemption tour from Cleveland? Because like you guys just start winning, man. You got Randy Moss up there, the '98, Randall Cunningham.
They were winning before me, but they were on the cusp, right? It was fun, man. I'm telling you what, there is no substitute winning a bunch of games. It is fun. And then the other thing is that you realize where franchises and teams are, right? And what the coach thinks of them. Because with Bill Belichick, we would practice full pads on Wednesday and Thursday. We would practice in shoulder pads and helmets on Friday, right? And we did that all year. All year. So you imagine having all that equipment on. When I got to Minnesota, I had to look for my shoulder pads every Friday to pack them, or every Saturday, because we didn't wear pads. We didn't wear pads unless we played bad, right? So everybody wanted to play good because I wore a sweatsuit the entire season in Minnesota. Never got hit, never hit, and we were fine. So, you know, it was a blast. Everybody got along. I think some of the best teams I ever played on, as far as chemistry, were 93 and 94 Cleveland Browns. And then when I got to Minnesota, right, there was still some, some wishy-washy people on Minnesota. There was none of that in Cleveland. It was the most incredible thing because, you either need to do one or two things. You need to win with your brothers or lose with your brothers, right?
All right.
And we all got tired of it at the same time, and we started winning. Now, we couldn't beat Pittsburgh, but that's a whole nother story.
No doubt. Now, so you're up there with Randy Moss's rookie year. Is that just a magical team? Did you just feel like a little shortchanged, though? You guys go 14-2 in the regular season. I remember that year. One of our first year in fantasy. Man, Randy Moss was getting going off every game.
Chris Carter
out there too. Oh, Cunningham,
Hey.
Man, it was on fire. I mean, you guys get to the playoffs. You're 14-2. I'm thinking these guys are going to go to the Super Bowl.
Didn't that kicker miss something?
He didn't miss 1 point all year. I don't think.
Anderson never missed a field goal.
Yeah,
And he missed one. But that's not even look, I'll give you 100 chances. Put the ball on the 30-yard line with a minute something left. You got to go down the field and score. How many times you think it happens?
I'm on 35.
30 out of 100. Who even knows? Depends on how many timeouts.
Probably three.
Three?
Driving with a minute left, go down the field and score a touchdown to tie 3 times maybe. Right? So what happened was it was crazy. And, I learned a valuable lesson that year because guess who we ran into the next year?
Who's that?
The greatest show on turf.
Warner.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So we were winning. How about this? We were winning 27-17 at half. And we lost 49-27.
Nice. Who was your coach? Was it Denny Green?
It was Denny. Yep.
Nice.
Denny. I only had Denny.
Denny was sweet.
Yep. So what was your last year in playing football professionally?
2000.
2000. Okay. But did you just kind of know it was time to hang it up? What let you know that it was time to retire?
So the year before that, in a preseason game, somebody fell on my back and my shoulder kind of snapped, and it was a rotator cuff. So I was like, if I have surgery and I get away from football, I'm going to be done. So I sucked it up and I played the whole year with just one arm, right? So the offseason came and they told me, you don't really need surgery. If you just do rehab and get the muscles and do all, the little pitching stretches and stuff like that to get it going. So that's what I did, right? Get back to camp and go to catch a pass and stick my arm up, and I got to play a whole nother year with this arm. So that was after my 10th year. So I said, you know what? Right after the season, I'm going to have the surgery. Now, I also had a knee injury, but I couldn't do the knee surgery because I had to walk on crutches. So I had the arm, right? And then I had to wait 6 months before I could have the knee done because I had to be on crutches.
Yeah.
So that was July, and I was still walking with a limp. And the Vikings called, and the Raiders called, and the Saints called, and I just didn't pick up. And they said, they go, hey, what did you do when you retired? I said, I just didn't answer no calls. If you answer the call, that means you're interested, right? Look, everybody knew they had the little hottie they knew in high school, right? They didn't want to give you the time of day, right? Then she called, right? You think she called because she interested, right? If you pick up the phone, what you saying?
You're interested too, yeah.
Right. Don't pick up the phone. Let it go. Don't pick it up. That's okay. I didn't need no fanfare. I didn't need no announcement. I said, y'all gonna know when I'm done. Why? I'm not gonna show up. And the Vikings call, hey man, you didn't report for camp. I said, huh? When did it start? Yeah, nah. That's it. I was fine with it. No big deal. I didn't, number love for everybody. I didn't harbor no ill will. I got to play. I averaged 14, 15 games for 10 years, right? Never really had a substantial injury. Played through a lot of stuff. I played over 160 NFL games, 170 NFL games. I'm good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to be the guy to try to suck out one more year.
I feel that. Now, how soon? What did you do right after you retired? How soon after that did you get into broadcast?
Nothing. I did nothing because I was having surgeries. All those surgeries I told you I avoided,
right?
I had them when I got done.
Okay.
So I spent 2 years, 3 years just rehabbing and sitting around. And I tried to do some stuff. And then Robert Smith was down here he moved down here years later. And he said, man, I'm doing this radio show. Why don't you come do it with me? Now, you have to understand, me and Robert are very opposites, right? He's very, he likes Formula One, right? And I can't think of anything less interesting than watching a car go around in a circle.
I second that motion.
Right. I'll watch. Look, here's when tell me. This is when you know you're a sports fan. You'll watch any sport, but if it ain't interesting, you wait till the end to see who wins. That's how I am. When it says 10 laps to go, I'm like, here we go. We got some action. So I started doing it with him because, I was laying around, not feeling good, just, down and out. Didn't want to do nothing because football probably had been my life. The hardest thing I ever did was get off them damn painkillers. You know what I'm saying? Because I was in so much pain all the time, right?
Right.
So I was just feeling so bad. I'm like, look, man, I gotta get out. I gotta do something, right? So I start walking. I used to love golf. I hadn't even golfed for 2 years. I have never missed since the time I was 13 years old. I had never gone a month without golfing. Maybe 2 months when I played football. But I golfed. I was one of those crazies. You know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Hey, it's only 40 degrees and it's sunny. We can get it in, right? One of those guys up in Ohio. So, yeah. So I didn't do anything. Then I started exercising. Then I want to say I started doing little, stuff because I had a degree. So I started doing some mortgages and stuff, nothing like that. Then Robert got me into the studio. I said, man, hey, psst. Hey, Juice, they pay you to talk? Right? I said, if they paying you to talk, imagine what I could get paid, right? So I just, started getting into it, doing it a little bit at a time, then I would do Fridays, and then, the next thing you know, they say, hey, you ever thought about doing this, more frequently? I said, not really. I'm just having fun. So they said, well, just keep having fun. And that's what I do.
Okay. Does talk radio ever get repetitive? Especially the same, if you talk here in Miami, I'm sure you talk about the Dolphins, if they're going through a down streak, does you ever get the same calls day in, day out? Well, this quarterback sucks, this and that.
I don't take calls.
Oh, okay.
And this is just me. First of all, it's 6 a.m. Nobody want to hear what you got to say before 8:30, 9 o'clock, right?
Right.
The other thing is this. If you riding in your car and say you listening to the Leroy show, right? Do you want to hear what the driver next to you have to say?
Not really.
On that radio for that guy, right? Think about it. Yeah, I don't know who's Goldhammer. Y'all listen to Goldhammer?
I know who he is. I listen to 92.3, The Fan, pretty much. I don't really listen to KNR too much. I know who he is, though.
Okay, so you listen to Bull, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you listen to him, do you want to have somebody call in and listen to what that guy have to say? Then you want to hear what Bull have to say?
Not
right?
really.
maybe Justin Fox.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're turning on the radio to be entertained by the people in. So if the majority of their content is phone calls, right? Like that's the way I look at it.
Oh yeah.
You know, and so we do take phone calls, but not that often. Not that often.
And so, what do you think of this current Browns team? We're 4-1 here. We're going into Pittsburgh. Every game seems to be a bigger game. Think we got a chance this week? You think we got a chance to make the playoffs? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Why not? You do the things that are a requirement of the North football, and that is you run the football, you play action, and you get after the quarterback. Now, there's one thing I would like to see done better. Baker take care of the football a little bit more, right? You don't have to take that many chances. You got a running game and you got a very capable defense. The only way you can hurt your team is turn the ball over. And two, I would like the defense to tighten up a little bit, right? Because keep in mind, for the last 2 or 3 years, the defense has been keeping you in games. And now all of a sudden, at times, they're getting a little loose, you know? So I don't know what that is. But just like I said with the offense looks like they finally found something. They found a flow to their offense, both running and passing the ball. Now it's just wait for that defense. And when it all starts clicking and you get on the little run, right, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun to watch. But I would think that it's going to be easier for the defense. And I like their chances for this reason. Father Time is undefeated, right? Bill Roethlisberger could look great, feel great, but Father Time say he ain't great because he old. And everybody can say, oh, he looks young. I look young too. When I get up out of this chair, I'm going to go limp to my other room, right? That's just how it is. So all those times when Ben Roethlisberger could stand back there like a tree and then you jump on him like he's your daddy and you can't get him on the ground and he throw a bomb, those days are over. Yeah. So get after him. Make him feel that pain.
Pain, baby. I'm pumped now. So what's your overall? I'm gonna put you on the spot right now. What do you think we're gonna win this game? The Browns gonna win this weekend or what?
It's all sitting around your defense. It's all sitting around the defense because the last 2 years I could count on your defense to do whatever they wanted. And I haven't seen it this year yet. Giving up a lot of points, right? I haven't seen that D that we've seen the last couple of years when the offense was struggling, right?
All right.
Now the offense is clicking a little bit. All I need is the defense to just come on back. Come on back close to where you were. Now, a lot of it you have to understand. New schemes. Coaches trying to figure out what schemes are going to work, what you do best. Same thing offensively, right? It looked like there was just a bunch of plays in the first game against Baltimore. Now it looks like there's a flow. Like there's a flow to things. Like you can kind of see how they're incorporating everybody and different things. So give the defense a chance. But I would just say if you see them get after Ben Roethlisberger and you see them get him on the ground, right, then you'll know they have a chance. Right. Then you'll know they have a chance.
Pretty much if we win the turnover battle and Baker doesn't throw picks, they got a good shot. The Baltimore or Pittsburgh's defense is really good. They put a lot of draft capital in the defense, and guys, they click a lot, like T.J. Watt and Bud Dupree and who's the other big wolf they got in there?
They did just give up.
Well, Miami gave you Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, they did dump Fitzpatrick on there for a first-round pick. Yeah,
hell of a player.
He's a beast out there.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Well, here's the funny thing about him. Guess what he complained about?
What's that?
Getting moved around.
Was that what he was advertised for coming out of the draft, though?
Yes, and guess what he's doing in Pittsburgh? Moving around. No, look, be honest. We know why. The team was over. He ain't used to losing. He wanted out. Be mad about it. Go ahead on and say it. We ain't gonna be mad at you. But don't use the excuse and then go to a team that does the same exact thing, and now all of a sudden you're so happy. When it made you happy. But I tell you what, one of the proudest moments I've ever had in sports was to be able to shove it down everybody's face that year we were 11-5. Right? Getting laughed at. I remember my rookie year, we were playing Cincinnati in Cincinnati. We kicked the ball off. Cincinnati was at the line of scrimmage, and the defense was just running out of the tunnel. I'm like, you want to talk about just bad? And we fought through that with the same guys, Rob Burnett, all those same guys. And we all came in together, and we were able to put it together. So I'm always, based on what I went through as a Cleveland Brown, I am always going to err on the side of caution as far as how I look at players, how I deem players to be a bust or not, or whatever. I'm going to give them an opportunity to go through the same things I went through.
Okay. So besides the radio show, how are you dealing with the shutdown down there in Florida and COVID and all that?
I go sit in my jacuzzi and watch my TV in my backyard, play with my dogs, and stay off my lawn. That's it. I'm good. I'm good. Like, I don't need friends right now. I'll holler at you later. You know, everybody think, oh, man, what you doing? Nothing. You know what? I do a show from 6 to 10. I get up, get me a English muffin at 5:45, put some drawers on, and come and do a radio show, right? When I'm done, I go take me an old person nap, chill, watch a little TV, go get in the pool, play with the dogs. Ain't no wrong with my life. I ain't got to get in the car. I ain't got to drive nowhere, right? My body's broke down. I ain't got to move. So it's awesome. Everybody just need to be safe. Let's all be safe. Look, the more people we can get to do the right thing, whatever the hell that is, the more people we can get to doing the same thing towards the same goal, the quicker we can get through this.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm fine, though. My kids do virtual. My son's doing virtual college, and my daughter's doing virtual. She's in the 6th grade, so we good.
Is your son? Where's your son go to college at?
He goes to FAU.
Does he play football?
No, he's a string bean.
Okay.
He's a string bean. I tried him when he was younger. You know, when you know, to be honest with you, you know if your kid is a football player or not.
You do.
He's a ruffian, right? He's rough. You can roughhouse him. You know, he gonna fight back. You know, you just know it. Hey, parents, don't push your kid into football if he don't like getting hit. When people say, oh, it'll toughen him up. No, it's not. He gonna cry. And then he gonna be the little kid that cried his whole life. Right? I don't know why parents think they can turn their kid tough.
Well, everybody always wants to. And people say all the time, you got to man them up, and just let the kid be the kid. If the kid wants to play football, you'll know. For sure.
I told my kids, I want you to be happy, right? Because if you ain't happy, I ain't happy, and I like being happy. So everybody around me need to be happy.
Heck yeah, man. Well, and then you guys got any questions? Any more questions for Leroy Hoard?
I was just gonna tell him like a year ago I bought a jersey for my little guy, a Leroy Hoard jersey.
Really?
Yeah,
he said, "Who the hell is this?"
No, he's 4 years old. When he starts going to the game with me, he's gonna wear the jersey, man.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Every time I go to a game, I'll come across a jersey.
Oh yeah.
Here's the funny thing. People don't realize this. Even in Cleveland, I have gone to a bar and had a conversation with somebody about me.
Nice.
Because they don't realize that everybody thinks I'm this massive person. And I wasn't. I just wore big pads.
What are you about 5'11", 220, something like that?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so me and him are bigger than
Hey, remember when he caught the touchdown laying on your back in the end zone?
Oh yeah.
That was awesome, man.
Hold on 1 second.
That was awesome.
Went bad.
He caught a touchdown laying in the end zone.
That was against I think it was against Pittsburgh.
Was it against Pittsburgh?
I think so. Yeah, the guys in the Browns Buzz group were asking me about that. They said definitely mention the lady.
Oh, yeah. That was a great play, man. That was awesome, man.
Well, I think your jersey's still popular because right when you were leaving Cleveland, your jersey was selling a lot because you were the hot card and everything. So everybody's buying the Leroy Hoard jersey because like you were saying, all the guys, Newsom and Clay Matthews were on the way out, and nobody was buying a Testaverde jersey or Kozar jersey. So everybody's jersey kind of just languished over there, and there's like a lot of Hoard jerseys just floating around just because it was a popular one at the Valley City.
I don't know. All I know is I saw it, and I had to get it for my little guy, man. Yeah, man. Because like I said, when we go to the games.
Hey, I'm getting ready to lose you guys because my son took I plugged in the Mac, but it's not plugged into an outlet, and this is all I got.
Okay, man.
No, that's no problem. We're getting ready to wrap it up here anyway, so we can let you go here, get you on your way. But thank you for joining us, my friend. Where can you? What's your radio station? How can we get a hold of you?
It is $7.90 the ticket in Miami. It's part of CBS now. It used to be ESPN, now it's CBS. So it's $7.90 the ticket in Miami, or you can hit me up on Twitter at Big Mouth Leroy, because I guess. Now, as when you do radio, you are required to have some type of social media. I don't know what the hell wrong with y'all. Everybody, hey, by the way, America, you too sensitive to have Twitter. Y'all too sensitive.
Yes.
Y'all too sensitive. Hey, remember when you was a kid? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. That ain't the case.
Not on Twitter.
Everybody's feelings get hurt. Hurt my feelings this, hurt my feelings that. Well, all right, guys, it was fun.
All right, my friend, take it easy and have a great day.
Have a good night.
All right, have a good one.
Bye, brother. All right, good deal. What do you think? Leroy Hoard, man?
That was pretty sweet.
That's pretty raw.
That was good. Yeah, he's
Thanks for Pat for joining this show. What's up, buddy?
What are you talking about? He never said anything either.
But seriously, man, that's a good interview.
I told you I was about to just sit and listen.
That's true.
That was awesome, man.
Yeah, so next week,
that was good.
The whole 2 viewers we got, I think one of them's bad, but next week we're gonna what's next week? Oh, next week's gonna be the Kazoo show, I think.
What's the Kazoo?
You know what Kazoo is? Like that. I ordered a bunch of kazoos off Amazon. We're gonna have a total kazoo show.
What?
The reason we're gonna do this is so Don can have his little fucking fest because he thinks he's better than everybody and shit.
What? What does that have to do with Don?
Well, the kazoos are better than Don, so we're gonna prove that kazoos can get better ratings than Don.
I want to see you and Don Box.
We're not doing that. And we're gonna have. I ran an ad in Nigeria, and we're gonna read next week some of these. Emily's kind of these great interview guys. You the best. I think that means we're good. But yeah, I ran an ad in Nigeria, and we're gonna read some of these comments that we had last time because they were fucking hilarious. One guy's like, "Do you have a brain and shit?" These guys got a big ass fight. And there was like 60 comments on
You opened the floodgates on that.
That was so fucking funny. But I'd like to thank Mr. Leroy Hoard for coming out today. Awesome. Catch him on the Fan or wherever the fuck it is down in Miami. Thanks for Pat for coming out, putting the mask on. Mayo, catch Mayo at his show. One's at the 24th, right?
Look at that, man.
For what?
When's your next show? Plug your show.
Yeah, the 24th.
24th is down in what? Cuyahoga Falls?
No, it's at
Crackman.
it's in Cleveland. Downtown, it's at Captivate.
Let's go, man.
We're going to be in fucking Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah. We're going to. Oh, man, that's why you couldn't go to Cincinnati, man. I was like, man, ask me to go to Cincinnati. He was like, the show.
I wanted to go.
So, me and Hernan are going to be down in Cincinnati for the Browns game on the 25th. My Cruz will be there, too.
I had Pat to go, but he said he had something to do with it.
My best friend's boyfriend's brother heard from the guys going to the kids.
The price, and maybe I'll go.
$130, you can't afford it.
Dude, you're loaded.
If you're out there and you want to go to the ball game with us, hit me or not up a messenger to $130. All right, you got to pay for your own hotel room.
My nephew might go.
Oh, Randall's gonna go.
I don't know.
Fucking let's go, man.
Yeah, but he's all over the place.
So it's $130 plus a hotel room.
Yeah, but the hotel. I don't know where. I was looking at some hotels today, man. I was looking at the Hyatt Regency, man.
All right, we can do that.
Well, I was looking at some suite ones where like there's rooms, like they have like a common room and like bedrooms.
Oh yeah.
I was looking at that because man, this fucking wants me to get 2 rooms. I'm like, I'm giving it a
I'll see what the price is.
No, I know where.
But next week we're gonna do no, 2 weeks after the the Kazoo show is a theory. We'll see if I get some more guests.
Are you gonna do? Oh no, we're gonna be.
The week after that we're gonna do a Halloween show, so everybody has to dress up. Don't want anything stupid, okay? No fucking, it's my work clothes.
It's the one gonna get.
I dressed up last year.
You did. Everybody did a good job last year. I'm just saying.
It's gonna be cold, bro.
By then, I'm going to be in the heat.
Remember, Hernandez walked in carrying a mask, and that's all he did.
Right, I was like, yeah, my mask, yeah.
All right, man.
And so be sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe. You know how to subscribe if you've been on YouTube before. And we'll see you next week. Pat, take us home, buddy.
And every Friday night from 9:30 to 11, we invite you to get infected.
All right, people. We'll see you next week. Go Browns.
I'm glad Pat showed up today.